This is Steve Ridgel, and I'm sharing a few thoughts on leadership from the story in 1 Samuel 15 where Saul loses his kingship because he doesn't obey the Lord. The Lord sends him into battle against the Amalekites and says, destroy them, and well, Saul doesn't. He wipes out the people, but he keeps the livestock, and he spares the king. And when Samuel shows up, Saul says, I did everything the Lord said. And he said, what's that sound I hear? It sounds like cows. Well, yeah, I spared the king, and then we kept the livestock. The people kept the livestock so they could sacrifice them to God. You know, the first failure was he didn't obey the word of the Lord. And so, boy, real leaders do what God says. So if you're a leader, you have to do what God says. And if you're somewhere following someone who doesn't do like God says, get another leader, find another group to be like. You can't follow people that don't follow God. But the other thing, here's the second big failure from Saul, and boy, this is an easy thing to do in any parenting, being an elder, being a preacher, being any kind of a spiritual leadership you're supposed to be in. He made excuses for his failure. Well, the people did. You really can't blame me. It was the people. Hey, I'm trying to lead these people. They don't listen. They do. Then you need to rebuke the people. You need to say, this is not what we're going to do. You need to stand up and lead. Now, I get the temptation to do what the people want. Boy, but that's not leadership. Following your people, reacting to your people. I hear people all the time say, we've got to do this, or this group, we can't do this, or that group's going to leave. We have to do this, or that group's going to leave. Well, you know, people in this culture won't come unless we do. Well, and you're always reactive. Just decide who you are and who you're going to be based on God, and then do that. And you know what? You're going to lose some people. You are. Don't act like, boy, that's some shocking thing. Jesus had multitudes following him. We started saying the hard things, and then a lot of them left. Now, I get the temptation to follow the people, but don't do that. And don't make excuses as a leader. Don't blame somebody else. Part of leadership is, it's like being a parent saying, well, I tried to raise my kids, but what can you do? Okay, I get that, but don't just blame the kids for how they do. You were the parent. Be the parent. Well, I tried to help the church do, and they just went. Okay, if you're an elder or leader of the church, or if you're preaching, stand up and say, you know what, my preaching for 10 years molded these people, and you know what, I failed. I get it. Hey, we've all failed sometimes in leadership, so if you're in a position of leadership, just buckle down and stop making excuses. Say it stops and starts. It starts and stops with me. And so don't make that kind of excuse. Don't make excuses when things don't go well. And when things turn away from the Lord, don't say, well, I stand up and own it, because that's what real leaders do. Well, this is Steve Ridgel encouraging you in your sphere of influence to be a leader who does not make excuses, but who follows the Lord.